Okay. We are allegedly live now. Click here at any time to view the post on YouTube. Cool. Perfect.
Oops.
Uh-oh.
Will you tweet it out, by the way, so I can retweet it, or how do you normally?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I guess you send out a little tweet. So here's some chat messages for you guys.
Sweet. Is this me? Yep, this is me. Okay. Whoa. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Alright, hang on, let me, Derp first, live, Derp testing. Alright, hang on guys, I'm gonna tweet the link, and we will get right into chatting. Do you have a Twitter, personal Twitter, or like
I literally just made a personal Twitter account like a week ago because
I'll tag you
like hooked me up with a sweet Derp PFP, so I've tweeted it 3 times, I think.
Alright, what's your at?
It is at the other, one word, the other _ Dave.
The other Dave? Oh wait,
Yep.
You said underscore. What was the underscore?
Between other and Dave, so it's the other is like one word _ Dave.
I got you.
Got me.
Live with the underscore other Dave, the other underscore Dave.
Right here, dude. You can see it.
Cool. Thank you so much. All right, guys, welcome. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Dave. Just before the show, Dave was asking me my background, so let me just fill in really quick so that way you get a sense of where I'm at. So I've been invested in cryptocurrency for 5 years now. I was put on in summer of 2017, got into Bitcoin, watched the top happen, and then 2018 when everything crashed, I dove in and I found Cardano. It was really simple as that. I'm sure everyone has like a similar story with Cardano, where they find the whiteboard video, they look into Charles, they look into this, look into that. And then also the money side of things comes over too. You start doing research. Wait a minute, when Bitcoin in 2013 was this much and then it crashed 99% and then went up, whatever. So I accumulated a ton based on that. My risk tolerance is a lot higher than most people because I'm young. And well, I mean, a lot of people are young too, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know, I really believed in it, and something in me was just so ready to go all into it. And so that's what I did. And then last August, NFTs took a hold of me, and I went full degen. And I understood that vision. I understood that NFTs are like how Bitcoin was in 2011. That's how I see it. I think it's the same psychology and the same speculativeness all across the board, but at the same time, there's a lot of projects around that will stand the test of time, in my opinion.
For sure. Yeah, and I'm here to convince you today that DerpBirds is one of them.
Yeah. I believe
but how old are you?
I'm in my mid-20s.
Mid-20s, okay. Yeah, so pretty high risk tolerance. Yeah, you've got time to make things right should it not go the way that you want it to.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for the intro. Yeah, I had a super similar background with like, I think like a lot of us heard a lot about Bitcoin and such like 2012, 2013, 2014, and I work in tech and have been in tech for about a decade now. So, have colleagues and such that were talking about a lot, didn't pull, I had no idea what it was. And then it's kind of same thing, really started getting pulled into it. I didn't really do much in 2017. I was terrified of what was that insane sort of parabolic action in 2017. So I didn't dive into 2017, but it was, for me, probably like end of 2019 is when I started dabbling.
So you found it and stood on the sidelines?
Yeah, I started understanding it and stayed out for a while.
Like a smart person.
Well, like actually, it's kind of funny. A lot of my friends, like I'm known amongst all of my friends that know me well in real life as being like the way that they describe me is like cautious and calculated. So I'm not a huge risk taker. I generally am not a big risk taker, and so yeah, I like to be sure of things.
I think there's something to be said right there. Like that's a big deal. The fact that you're not a risk taker, yet you're not. Number one, you're on Cardano. Number two, you're building an NFT on Cardano. Like, just a lot. Like 99.9% of the world would say that's a speculative thing to do. So I think it's
Yeah.
really cool that someone like you, who's quote unquote not a risk taker, is here. So I'm excited to hear everything you have
You
to
know,
say and whatnot.
it's a really good point because when we first started talking about Derp Birds and such, and by the way, I had the same sort of path, very similar to like started with Bitcoin, found Charles's whiteboard video, watched it 5 times, and then jumped in pretty heavy into Cardano at that point. The NFT side for me was sort of like July last year, around this time actually, just a little over a year ago. So I missed like hearing you in Feta talk when you talked to him a couple weeks ago.
Feta cheese.
Yeah, I wasn't there for like the super early days, and so I feel like I missed out. Like I hear you guys talk, and like I'm like, man, I wasn't in it at that point, and there's sort of like there's just going to be like that's sort of those early days. Nothing you can do. Sort of missed out on it. But when we did DerpBirds, like we decided Cardano one because
Hey, hang on one sec, because I don't want anyone to miss what you're having to say, but people are saying there's an echo, so we're just going to fix that really quick.
Can you tell him to talk? Say something. Say hi.
Am I muted, or?
Can you hear him?
I can't hear him.
testing.
Right. Just hang on, guys. Monsoon.
Okay, 1 second.
Dave has the echo.
Oh, now you can hear
Whoa,
yourself.
whoa, 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 whoa.
Alright, can you say something, CJ?
Hello, hello, hello.
Dave, no sound. Why is he having an echo? I don't get it. If you guys not talking, I can't hear anything.
What's that?
I need you guys.
Dave, can you talk?
Testing.
Okay.
Testing.
How's that?
I can hear him fine.
Okay.
They are comfy. Does Dave have an echo? Everyone watching?
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing.
No, go. Great, you guys are good.
We're good?
We're good.
He has an echo. If he does. Is there an echo or no? I'm not hearing it. No.
Cool.
You guys need to speak.
Okay.
And Dave should be.
We good.
Are we good? Someone said he's still echo.
Shane, do you hear an echo? No, I'm not hearing it. From Dave. Dave needs to speak.
talk, Dave? Talk again?
Testing 1 2 3. Testing.
Echo still.
Testing.
Do you have AirPods, Dave? Or headphones?
I do. You want me to try to switch over?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, give me a second. I will go. Actually, wait. Oh, you know what? They're probably super dead.
Oh. The whole time.
Testing. Am I still? I just switched over. I mean, I was using. I have 2 audio settings here for microphone options. Is it still? Is it the same? Oh wait. My AirPods are fully charged.
Oh, cool. Can't hear CJ now. Why can't they hear me? Did you do something?
No, they should.
Testing.
Hello, hello, hello. What is
Testing.
everyone? How is it working for everyone? How about now?
Doesn't make sense because it's all your signature.
Dave has lost the echo.
I'm good. Am I good?
Someone said Dave has lost the echo, and then someone said keep trying some stuff. No, he hasn't.
Testing.
Let's see. Sorry. Hi. Hi, everybody. Echo still.
I'm glad the DerpBirds Discord's having fun with this.
Speak, Dave. Do it again.
He can't hear.
Testing. 1 2 3. Testing.
Now we can't hear him.
Larry, can you talk?
Hello.
Hello. Testing.
Can you hear me?
I cannot hear Dave.
Okay. Shane, how's that? Sounds like yeah. Okay. So hold on. We're good. Okay, but now you can't hear him.
No.
check. Hey. Yeah. Hey, Dave. Can you hear me okay?
I can barely hear you.
All right. Perfect. I can hear you. Can I hear you?
Testing.
Talk to me,
Testing.
Dave.
1, 2. Yeah, testing. Can you hear me?
Okay, you're definitely speaking. All right, 1 second, everybody.
He's fixed.
Okay, hold on.
Think you got it.
Almost there.
You're saying in Discord now I sound good.
Dave sounds beautiful now.
It's something I've never been told before.
All right. Still don't hear anything coming from here.
It seems like it's good.
Hey, check. Okay, gotta get Dave up in this business so we can all hear Dave. Great. We can hear Dave just fine. Okay. All right, I think we're good. Dave, do you mind speaking to me?
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Oh, now I'm doing an echo on my end.
How's he sounding there? Okay. All right, keep talking, Dave, just a little bit.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so getting an echo. Or I can be getting some feedback. I can hear
Love
myself.
a good live.
It's super distorted though.
Yeah,
Oh
that's gnarly.
my
Crazy,
God.
yeah.
Okay, Dave, how about now?
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Not bad.
Testing. Okay, I'm not getting an echo now. No feedback.
It echoes back now.
Is that better?
Hold on.
It's good on my end. I hope everyone
That's way better.
has a drink and you're just chilling. It's
Dave,
Friday.
do you mind talking to me a little bit?
Yeah, can you hear me? Testing. 1, 2, 3.
All right, still CJ left. Keep talking to me a little bit, Dave.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
All right,
Testing.
you guys sound good. Okay, this is great. How do I sound?
You sound good.
All right, great.
And I'm cool. Are we good?
How's the echo?
Sounds good. We're still waiting for it to catch up for now.
Okay.
But I think we're good.
All right. I will be filling in for CJ.
Let's do it.
Hey, Dave. How's it going?
What's up?
Sorry about the technical difficulties, but CJ will be returning shortly, and we can carry on with our regularly scheduled programming.
Nice.
He's echoing again.
What?
He's echoing again.
You're echoing again.
Yeah.
Apparently, you're echoing again.
I'm echoing now?
My God.
Where we had it before you switched the ports, that feels perfect at that point.
Okay, keep talking to us, Dave.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
All right.
I'm gonna need more bourbon.
Same. Me too. I'm gonna go need some of that.
Testing.
Echo?
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
I have to wait.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Now I can't hear you. Keep talking, Dave. Nothing. Okay.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing.
Sounds good on my end.
Testing.
Shane?
That was good.
Okay. Let me hear you, Dave.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna walk and literally get some more bourbon, and I'll just keep talking. So I'm
Okay.
walking.
God, it just sounds so fine here. I don't get it. So, hello everybody.
We could just like call this the
Sounds good on
pre-show.
my end. We have his output blurb on both his output and yours too. Copy. On this end, it looks like we shouldn't though. Oddly. No kidding. Dave, let's hear you.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Dude, on the plus side, I think this is going to turn into a bunch of new memes for the Derp Birds community. So, yeah.
Hello, check.
I can hear you.
Can you hear
Testing.
me? I can't hear you. Can't hear CJ. Nobody can hear me. It's really weird. Alright, everybody. This is very interesting. You can hear me. Dave, are you able to hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, but we can't hear you for some reason.
Don't touch anything.
Don't touch anything.
Is it
No,
working?
I can't hear CJ though. Okay, 1 second. Let me see.
Yeah, hold on, because their chats are also delayed.
I understand. We're almost there, everybody. I can feel it. It goes back. Ah! Okay. Okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Great, but you're coming through here.
Can you hear me?
Hold on 1 second. Damn. How's this? All right, I hear you. You hear me? Can you hear me?
Hear you?
I can. Okay,
Yep.
great. Okay, how about the world?
The world hear us?
Waiting for you guys over there. Shane.
Wait for him to talk. He's still echoing.
He's still echoing.
Yeah.
Damn.
Is it possible that the Rhodes is receiving two outputs?
Nope.
From, it doesn't go through the USB.
Nope.
Right? It's just the.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
Because you had it at one point.
Yeah, that's weird.
But I don't
Here,
know-
Dave, talk to us.
I don't know that you were able to hear.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. I'm just gonna launch into like the full history of DerpBirds, and then it gives me hours of content. Just talk forever.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
Bad echo on Dave again.
Is it?
Are you sure that's not just his home, it being a reverby in his home? I think the echo is literally just the reverb from your open room.
I mean,
No.
It's not?
it can't be
Okay.
that strong, especially.
He's double input for some reason.
He's double input on something. It can't be on this end though. It's the weirdest thing.
And I mean, I don't know how it could be because I'm literally just going through my AirPods and I don't have any audio-based software. I don't have any other mic.
Right. Okay. Can you hear me at all?
I can hear you.
Okay. Is he still echoing?
Testing. Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Yes, Millie, the AirPods are connected.
Oh, weird. Okay. How is it good now or let me hear you, Dave?
Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. We're good.
And still an echo. That is so weird, man. It,
Yeah, they're saying like it's good for a second. It's like nice and crisp for a second, and then it goes back to having an echo.
so weird.
Oh wait, now they're saying it's good in Discord. They're saying it's perfect, good. Yeah, now crisp, yes, crispy, crisp, yes.
Are we good?
You were there?
Okay, we're good then. Great.
We're good.
Come on over,
Don't
CJ.
don't touch anything.
Yes, sounds good. Beautiful.
Great.
Yes, all good, good. Whenever you're ready. That's super good.
Do we still have no echo? Wait, is there an echo? They're saying there's an echo. Some people are saying there is no echo.
Hello.
That was the pre-show.
I'm glad you guys all enjoyed it. That was staged. Dave, thank you for your beautiful acting skills. You killed it.
Yeah, this is all rehearsed. It was all set up. Dude, I'm already a little tipsy.
Yep, that was the plan. All right, please go ahead and just introduce yourself. Just start tangenting and get back into the groove. Go for it.
Okay. we were talking about how I got into crypto, Derp Birds. We launched Derp Birds back last year in September. We were talking about how I found my way into Cardano, and that's what it was. It was risk and cautious and calculated. That's where we left off. So, the reason why Cardano, it is sort of a risk factor. Like, it's something I'd love to hear your opinion on. Is that we've seen some like negative growth, like in terms of like daily active wallets on Cardano. To me, that's the biggest risk factor on Cardano. Like, there's a lot of security in Cardano in terms of like regulatory stuff that could come down the pike in the future. It gives me a lot of confidence in the future of Cardano. But in my opinion, launching on Cardano wasn't necessarily the riskiest play. I think it would be really difficult to launch on Ethereum, for example, where of course the user base is much more established. There's way more active users, but I'm not gonna lie, the competition there is also a lot more fierce. And we were also really interested in sort of, as you said at the beginning of the show, like, improving the overall quality of production. And of course, we ran into audio issues, but we were interested in like improving the space, and so a lot of our focus was on minting and so on. But yeah, cautious and calculated.
Yeah. So why were you saying that what the risk factor was in Cardano? What was that you were talking about?
There's been, like, if you look at on-chain metrics and such, like for 2022, there's been a decline in daily active wallets. That's not something that like, obviously we're on Cardano. I love Cardano, and we'll stay on Cardano. But in the short term, it definitely is something that, and I've been talking about this. In fact, I think Gupjob is watching. We've been talking about this a bit lately as well. As just like the overall daily active wallets have been in decline, and you compare that to something like Solana that's stayed consistent for this year. And I think most people who are on Cardano understand it's a longer term, right? You're here, we're still in sort of our infancy.
Well, what's interesting about the Solana comparison, because that's what I was wondering, is that, what have other cryptos look like? But I'm sure, I don't know, but I'm sure if you compare it, I'm sure the angle of incline that Cardano had in 2021, I'm assuming, is a lot more steep than Solana as well.
Possibly, yeah.
But I'm not.
Maybe so.
So yeah. I think naturally you'll have a decline in that nature. Also, the NFT volume is not as high as Solana and Ethereum. And I think the majority of incentive, or maybe I'm just in a bubble with all the other degens, I think the majority of the incentive to create a new wallet at this point could be from NFTs. Maybe not the majority, but I feel like real new active users are now in it for NFTs, or that's like the new thing. I doubt the majority is for NFTs, even on ETH or Solana, but probably a decent amount. Kind of forgot where I was going from there, but
yeah, I mean, it makes sense though. Like NFTs for a lot of people who have any association with crypto, NFTs represent the sole use, right? The sole purpose for them and crypto. And for you, and probably for myself, it's the majority for me as well. Like, I don't do a lot in crypto outside of NFTs at all now. It's almost all NFT based stuff. So that's probably true. And Solana, you think like what draws a lot of people into NFTs to begin with, right? And I think people come for the opportunity to make money, right? Yes. Like they want
at least right
NFTs.
Now.
But I think people stay for other reasons, right? You come in for the money, and then community, innovation, technology, fun, whatever.
The community definitely stabilizes me at times. Sometimes I think to myself, like, man, why did I go so hard on NFTs? I didn't need to do that. But then at the end of the day, the community that I have interacted with, and just the community around, I don't know, me is priceless. I love all of these people that are just like, what community do you just walk into where you could talk to anyone almost about anything, to be honest? I've even vented to certain people, and vice versa too. Like, it goes deep, the community is dope. And then traveling wise, if I wanted to go to, let's say, Australia. There's a handful of people that have invited me already, and I'm like, holy shit, like that's
Yeah.
like we didn't have that 20 years ago, even let alone
Yeah,
10,
I think
barely 10
like
years ago.
we focused on that like really with DerpBirds really early on was making community a core piece of it. And I was just reflecting earlier, like back in September and October, like after we launched, I could go into Discord and like start typing and chat would literally silence because they were like, oh my God, it's gonna be a spoiler, he's gonna say something. Dude, I can go into chat now and it's the most beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I can go into chat now and say things and no one even cares. Like no one even reacts on anything that I say. Because people are there and the DerpBirds Discord is always a flutter. It's like always busy. And I just get ignored and I love it. I absolutely love it. I can go in and see like there's like a gaming channel and people are on audio comms playing games together.
Oh, that's dope.
And so, dude, I love it. I think that that's like something, and it's a cliche, right? Like NFT projects are about community, like, but I think that the projects, especially that are gonna endure through a tough bear market, are gonna be the ones that have a super tight knit, just that absolute core. And DerpBirds has that, like, without a doubt, they are as responsible for keeping DerpBirds stable through everything that we've been through. It's that core group of community that sort of push us on. So yeah, community is a big reason why people stay. But yeah, they come into it for the money, and I think that tying back to what we were talking about, like if people are coming into NFTs for money, like the volume of Solana or Ethereum compared to, and I know you and Feta talked a bit about this, but like the overall volume that you see on like Solana, so like honestly, it just dwarfs what happens on Cardano still.
Dwarf is a fantastic word.
Yeah, it's accurate in this use too. Like it completely dwarfs what's happening on Cardano. So yeah, I mean, if you're getting into NFTs for money, then like it makes sense to go where the money's at. And right now that
it can, right? And I just recorded a video that'll be out on like Monday or something, but I was talking about, bear market builders and what the difference is between a bear market builder and a bull market builder. And people in the bull market, it's almost a facade. Like sometimes it's too easy, it's too lucrative. And then once that foundation is thin, and then once that foundation crumbles and you tap into a bear market or you get a minus 50% on the chain of the price of the chain that you're on, it really exfoliates what you have going on.
Yeah, I mean, I think for sure you're going to see a huge shakeout of not only existing projects who are in the space, but also I mean, we've seen that with, and I think I talked about the decline in like daily active users on Cardano. A big part of that is just going into a bear market, right? People were not just in NFTs, but in crypto in general, people were way over leveraged, and now they're just like, I'm getting out. People were like peak fear on the
that's a really good point that a lot of people ended up over leveraged, and now the fear is dominoing on top of itself, and now people are selling. But honestly, hearing you say that just makes me want to stay as crazily leveraged as I am, because eventually, I mean, these things are cyclical. It doesn't stop. Like, it's like a wheel. Like it just keeps going round in circles, and that actually makes me kind of excited to really put that together in my head, because it's true. Like there will be a time again, whether it's 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, or 5 years, where all of a sudden it is a bull market and it's easy to make money. It's easy to flip. Even in the bear market, like I'm not gonna say it's easy to flip. It's a lot easier to lose money than it is to make money, even in a bull market sometimes.
Yeah.
But there are so many opportunities still. Like I bought, just like Beyond Citizen. Like I bought a bull on the second day for like 650 ADA, and I could probably sell it right now for 1200 ADA. Like that's 100%. In a bear market, so
there's the opportunities are still there, and it's healthy obviously for the space as well. Like the amount of, to be honest, the amount of garbage that we saw launching that we've seen in the space from, again, you were here before me in the NFT space, but
no, you said I think you
said
July, right?
Yeah, July.
I came in early September, so I was late.
Oh, gotcha. Cool. Sweet. Okay, then well, even from then, like there's been a lot of garbage that's just and the really unfortunate thing, and again, I'm going to say this a lot because I literally just watched yours and Feta's talk like last night, so there's a lot of points there that are still really relevant. But like a lot of the projects that have launched since even since you've been in the space since September, from then until now, like that absorbed so much hype and volume in the space, and then now they're gone.
Yeah.
Either they rug pulled, or and the bigger thing, dude, it's not just the rug pulls. Like rug pulls are gross, right? But it's easy to understand why
Right.
that project, what happened to that project. The team
Right.
left. But what's worse, and like I
Right.
think is actually more damaging,
Right.
is,
Uncertainty.
dude, I mean, imagine you're a DGen, right? And there's a new project that's like getting hyped up on Twitter and they haven't launched yet. And you go and you check out their website and you find out, okay, this team, they have 3 people. And you investigate these 3 people, the 3 founders of this project. None of them have any experience building anything ever. Right? They're not, dude. And so I'm gonna go on a little tangent here.
Go.
But like,
I'm ready.
Having done the minting stuff, like, you know, we went heavy into like multi-sig and like figuring out the minting, and we've worked with a lot of projects to help them with their minting. We worked with Cornucopias, like to help them get their minting stuff.
Okay, wait. Will it ruin your tangent if I ask you to explain what a multi-sig wallet is?
Multi-sig wallet is out of my area of expertise. Like what we worked on was the multi-sig transactions.
What's that?
And so multi-sig transaction, rather than explain exactly what it is, it's easiest to explain how it compares to traditional minting or minting over like a smart contract.
Okay.
So the benefit of multi-sig is that you can have 2 parties sign a single sign for a transaction, and you can actually fulfill that transaction. It's kind of weird because I'm using the word transaction, but you can actually have the outcome of that transaction fulfilled in that single transaction. So imagine you want to mint an NFT. Actually, let's say you're going to buy something on JPEG Store. You're going to sign. That's going to be 2 transactions. You're going to sign, and then the NFTs, that's going to be 1 transaction. You're going to send the ADA, and then the other transaction is going to be sending the NFT to your wallet. With multi-sig, you can actually accomplish both of those in 1 transaction. So it's twice as efficient. It's cheaper. And in fact, it's what JPEG Store is doing for their launchpad, right? They did the Hippo free test mints that people.
Oh, that was for the multi-sig thing?
That was a multi-sig transaction. Oh. So again, it's lightning fast because it's 1 transaction instead of 2. It's cheaper. So we were actually the first ones to do it back in November. It was Alessandro who wrote a tweet about how multi-sig could be used for that. And then we were working on a smart contract for Derplings. We'll come back to all this, but and then we figured I read that tweet by Alessandro. I didn't understand any of it. I sent it to our engineer. He's like, "My God, that's genius!" And then a couple weeks later, we were doing our Derp, and we were the first multi-segment, and it's awesome. And now there are a lot of teams who have figured it out. But to take a few steps back, what I was saying is,
thank you, by the way.
Yeah. What I was saying is that you're a DGen, there's a new super hyped project, you go check out the team, and there are 3 people, and we've talked to teams who come to us and like, hey, we would like you to handle the minting for our project. I'm like, cool, let's set up a call so we can get to know you guys, because we're pretty picky who we help out, who we work with. And like the team, they don't have an artist, they don't have an engineer, they're just 3 people basically running the community, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. They're outsourcing the artwork, and they're outsourcing like all of the tech work that they're doing. Again, that's not necessarily wrong in any way, but it's like, if you are evaluating that project and that team, and you look at their roadmap that they're proposing, if they can't even handle the minting or the artwork for their projects, what confidence does that give you in their ability to deliver on their roadmap?
Right.
And that's what I mean when I say I don't want to. I'm not trying to take a shit on any project or anything like that. I think if you're willing to grind and like make things work, then you'll figure out how to get it done. But I think in particular in this, especially in a bear market where ADA is at 50 cents, the only thing that team can do is take all of the ADA that they've earned and pay another team to build their roadmap, and that's impossible with a 50-cent ADA. And again, Feta talked about this, like how are you going to build a project on $100,000, right? Because ADA is at this price. And so that's what I mean is like, I think during a bear market, you will see teams like that, projects like that, far fewer. You're going to see far fewer of them. And you see those teams who have launched under their circumstances just leave. They have no and I'll tell you, as soon as we started seeing ADA really dump, right? $1.50, $1.20, sub $1, we actually started getting so many messages, DerpBirds did, so many messages from other teams who were interested in our technology all of a sudden, because they wanted to, they're scrambling looking for things that they can deliver on their roadmap. and they don't have any of the resources needed to do it. They don't have the artwork, they don't have the story element, they don't have the ability to build it. And so again, it's maybe I'm being a little bit too negative, but I think that, again, it's back to the point of bear market. I think it's healthy for the space to see the projects who are serious, who are legitimate, who have thought about how they're going to fund their project through potentially 12 or 18 months of a bear market. The teams who have the skills to build, who have the determination and grit to get through a bear market, and who have the ability to fund their project during that period of time, those are going to be the ones I think that are here in 12 and 18 months. So yeah, bear market's good. It's healthy for the space.
Right. I couldn't agree more, because I think what a handful of projects do is just commission an artist for another 10, 20 grand and say you're getting female versions of your NFTs or whatever it is, and then not delivering anything else and calling it a day. But back to your point of it's even worse than a rug pull, because now you're being led on, you're spending more money, you're investing, you're doubling down, and you want to be excited about something, but
yeah,
it's very I think people are finally catching on, but it's very deceptive at that point. Even something like, I'll call out, Degen Tunes a little. Like, I love Degen Tunes and I have a good amount of them, but what have they done? I don't know. They airdropped you some dynamite that got you a new piece of art, but like, I don't know, what else have they done? I know they have merch. I know they're very active. I know they're very active with their community, very responsive. They have weekly talks, but even then, like, that could still be recipe for the greatest rug pull of all time. I haven't seen anything be executed. But
yeah, that's that slow. Well, I'm not saying that they are, but that's that's the slow rug, right? Like teams like we're over here building. I don't know if you follow. There's a bunch of YouTubers who talk about this. Like, you go through. I'm too tipsy to remember the name of it now, but what's the popular crowdfunding website? Like, lots of indie games go through there and get crowdfunded. I can't believe. I'm totally blank, but you understand the source of the idea of crowdfunding, right? You go in and say, hey, we're going to build this game, and people all tip in. They all pitch in, like, people who would like the sounds of this game donate to see this game built, and you get different perks and everything. And I can't believe I'm totally blanking on the name of this, but what happens is a lot of teams come in, they put together a really cool trailer or something, and then they get a lot of people to donate, $100,000 or $500,000 or millions of dollars in some cases, and then they're unable to deliver on this game. Right? Building video games is hard, and they eventually get taken to court, and they almost never have anything bad happen to them, because all they have to do is demonstrate that they're doing something. They're like, look, we committed this one line of code last month. Like, we are actively building this game. And this concept of like the slow rug in the NFT space is like, no, guys, we are making progress towards our roadmap. It's going to be another 12 months, but we're going to get this next feature out to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's also a real danger. But yeah.
So
I think that's.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, and part of me, like, as much as the bear market sucks, like, again, it's good for the health of the space, but also we're kind of excited, like DerpBirds, like, for that opportunity, because as you mentioned, in the bull market, there's just so much. It's so easy to make money. It's easy to make money if you're a flipper, and it's easy to make money if you're a team, because everything sells in a bull market.
Right.
And the cool thing about a bear market is that it does give the teams that are serious about building the opportunity just to sort
shine.
And the noise sort of dulls out, the hype sort of fizzles down, and the teams that are building can just sort of go into a cave and build, and sort of work towards what they committed to delivering.
And I think a lot of people actually, like the slow burners, they use that excuse, like, oh no, we're in the cave, don't worry. And I hate that. And it's even Alessandro, I don't like that he disappears for weeks because he has an NFT project. If he was just a dev, whatever. But I don't love that he goes in the cave. I believe in him and I trust him, and that's why I have a lot invested into Space Buds. But I hate the cave thing. Like, you can be active with your community and still talk to them, Yeah.
We've like on DerpBirds' front, like and I've talked about this with a few other people, a few other teams and stuff in the space, is like like burnout and such. And I don't think that's the case for Alessandro or anything. I think that's his style.
Yes.
But for us, like one mistake that we've made has been some inconsistency. Like we came and to talk about our roadmap for a bit, like there's already like Discord's already joking about how like Dave, don't get tripped up too much on talking about the past. But so I'll give you like the quick, you mentioned when you reach out on Discord, you're like, dude, DerpBirds is really confusing. So
super. Yeah. Do you want to start talking about that?
Fair enough. Yeah, and I'll tie it into this last point that you made as well.
All right. So let me ask a question really quick, just on the very shallow side of things. When I bought a handful a couple weeks ago, and I noticed that like the trait for the eyes, head, body, etc., they were all the same names.
Mm-hmm.
So what is like what is the how'd you guys come up with Derp Birds, Silly Birds, and these like 5 to 10 different variations?
Yeah, so I to be honest, I don't remember exactly how we landed on the idea of doing, so we call them archetypes, right? So we have the stoner, we have the deity, the buff bird, we have the redneck. There's 14 of them, I think 15 with the ghost, which is a 1 of 1. And so those are archetypes. And so the DerpBirds are predominantly made up of 7 traits. And so if you look at I'm gonna do. I already know the community is gonna be laughing as I'm trying to explain this, but because this is a type of thing that I will go down way too far down a rabbit hole in this. But
I'll stop you if it goes too far.
Thank you. We have like 14 archetypes, and they're sort of complete characters. So you have the perfect stoner, you have the perfect deity, the perfect buff bird, and then what we did is we just scrambled across a collection of 10,000 all of those traits.
Right.
So if you have a bird with all 7 of the stoner traits, for example, you have a perfect what we call a perfect specimen stoner, or you have a perfect specimen deity.
I see. Okay.
So we just decided, rather than making it a bunch of just completely random traits, we wanted them to be a little more cohesive.
That's cool.
And so you have complete characters.
I understand that.
I like it, like in retrospect, where we messed up. Actually, this is something that if you hadn't looked at the project until recently, it may not be as apparent. But early on, we got lambasted. Like we got completely, for 2 mistakes that we made with the original collection. One is we included the rarity in the name, which, dude, the day after we launched, we were like, people were like calling us out, like, don't do that. Let people decide for themselves what they like. And if you put an arbitrary rank like rarity in the name, so you have a common derp bird or a legendary or a mythical or mystical, then you're basically you're sort of like gaslighting someone to be like, oh, this is just a common. It's not worth as much.
Let the people decide. Right.
Exactly. That was one mistake. And the second was with that archetype system, we have those 14 characters. We lumped the character as its own rarity. So for example, Dave, and that sounds super narcissistic, but the most common is the Dave bird. It's just like your most generic, regular, boring bird, and that's the Dave archetype. And it's the most common. It has the least rare attributes across the board. So its beak, its eyes, its ears, its body, its back attribute, like they're the most common. So what happens is anytime, like if you're looking at the least rare birds, they're all made up of the same traits. You'll have Dave traits, Astro traits, like the least rare. And so what you end up with is all the most common birds have a lot of the shared traits. There's not a lot of variety at the lower end, and that's the other mistake we made. But so to fast track you through the roadmap, we launched DerpBirds back in September, middle of September.
Well, really quick, I just want to say that at this point in the game, like that's totally okay. I don't fully see it as a mistake, especially since you can explain it at this point, and now that it's spoken out loud, people can decide for themselves at this point. So props to you guys for making it this far and getting here and being willing to admit you wish you did this differently, that differently. But yeah, it's totally cool, man.
The fact that you didn't pick up on it, like when you picked up a few, like that's a good sign for us. It's like, okay, it's not the issue isn't so obvious that it would deter people from jumping in.
Right.
And I'll come back to that later, because we have this idea of doing DerpBirds 2.0, and it is basically, it's sort of what Alessandro is thinking about doing with the token migration for Space Buds. We were actually talking about the same idea a few months ago, where the DerpBirds are on a closed policy. So we can't modify them in any way. They can't change dynamically. Their traits can't be, with another collection we have, the community is going to be able to go in and customize the traits and change the look of them.
Oh.
You need them to be on an open policy to do that. And the DerpBirds, since we launched in September, they are on a closed policy. So they, just like Space Buds, they're locked down. You can't do anything with them.
Yep.
The only alternative you have is to sort of relaunch the collection. So the idea for DerpBirds 2.0 is that we're going to do them in a completely new art style. It'll still be reminiscent of DerpBirds, right? Like
it'll still be derpy.
Exactly, but we're talking. Well, I can't give away too many spoilers on it, but
no
so
worries.
it's gonna be. That's actually the most common feedback we've received. Like I've reached out to other people like you in the space. I've reached out to project teams, to big wells in the space, and I've asked them, like, what is it that's kept you from being into DerpBirds until now? What is your perception of DerpBirds? And the number one most common feedback that we've heard for the OG collection is like, yeah, the art, I'm not really into the art.
Yeah.
And that's, art is subjective.
Yeah.
Like, everyone should be into what they're into. Like, you know, that's a perfect.
I agree. Art is subjective. However, we're all human, and so the first thing we're gonna look at is that, and it's gonna at least be weighted in a certain direction where it makes people feel one way or the other.
Either you like it or you don't. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's one of, I'll be totally transparent. That's one of the reasons with doing DerpBirds 2.0 is it gives us a chance to sort of reinvent the OG collection. But then number two is we'll get to put them on an open policy. So we'll be able to do dynamic things with them. You're starting to see this be more of a trend on Ethereum, where there's that, I think it's an Ethereum collection. It's that like Queen Elizabeth collection, and they're literally releasing, like, the NFTs change every day or something until she dies.
That's cool.
Which I think is an awesome, like, that's such a cool idea. And so being able to do dynamic NFTs that change over time based off of external data or actions that the user takes, that the holder takes, that's what we want to be able to do with the OG collection. And that's what we're doing with the new collection, with the Pred, the enemies of the DerpBirds. You've probably seen them.
I bought a few of those
they're on
too.
the open policy. Nice. Okay, yeah. So we're working on right now. Once we get the Derp token rolled out, we'll be working on the customizable Pred stuff.
All right. So for the viewers and anyone who is thinking about investing, let me ask you a question in a certain way. So the DerpBirds, did those come first? So they came first, obviously, and then what's the deal with the eggs?
Okay. So yeah, back to the roadmap. Then September we did the OG DerpBirds.
Yep.
A month later, we launched the incubator, and it's done now. We allowed for the creation of up to 15,000 eggs. So if you had a DerpBird, you could go and create an egg. And most birds, I should say, I mentioned the rarity, right? We have legendary, mystical DerpBirds, common, uncommon. There's 7 different levels of rarity. And all of the birds, the common and uncommon birds were the only ones that could incubate more than one time. They could incubate every 7 days. So we wanted to sort of say, hey, if you have a more common, one of the less rare DerpBirds, this is a real tangible benefit that only your bird can take advantage of, that only those could take advantage of, so they could incubate more than one time. We did some other fun things there, but this is a total meme in our community, is me going way too deep on talking about
So
eggs.
just from a shallow point of view, I mean, I think the eggs are selling for 20 or 30 ADA right now or something like that, right? So does that mean that literally every 7 weeks, every 7 days, you were getting an egg from each common DerpBird you had?
So the way that it works was there was a cap. The floor looks like 44 right now, but there was a cap of 15,000. So all 15,000 eggs have already been created.
Right.
There was a limit on them, and so they've already been created. But you had to pay to create the eggs.
Oh, okay.
So there was a fee to incubate your DerpBirds, but then the next month in November, back to the multi-sig thing, we figured out how to do multi-sig, and we did the Derplings, and the Derplings are the baby DerpBirds.
Okay.
Have you seen them?
I think I briefly saw them. I didn't pick any of those up. I got preoccupied.
Well, so the Derplings, you were able to hatch them a month after you got the eggs. Like that's when we launched the hatchery. And the eggs, they were free to hatch. It was free to hatch the eggs. So you paid for the egg, but then you got the Derpling for free. And so that's September, October, November. September, the DerpBirds. October, we did the incubator. And then November, we did the hatchery. It was insane. it was a lot of roadmap progression really quick. In hindsight, I wish we'd sort of spaced it out a little bit because we came out guns blazing. Like it was a whole lot in a very short period of time. So yeah, there was 15,000 eggs. Now the interesting thing is we only allowed for up to 7,500. That's half of the eggs to be hatched to be derplings. Okay. So only half of those eggs. So
and was that a speed thing? Yeah. Did you have to go first?
It was, well, yes, but it took, I want to say, someone from the community will correct me, but I want to say it was at least 6 weeks or something, if not longer, for all of the derplings to get hatched.
So, okay, and then my next question is, I'm kind of jumping ahead, but it's kind of a burning thought. So now you can attach a derp bird with an egg and then get a predator, right?
Yes.
And the egg goes away, but you still keep the bird, right?
So the way it works, to jump to that point, and it's a good point to jump to because it's the next use of the eggs. Also, I notice I'm sweating, and I know people are going to have fun with that. But the other use for the eggs was, the other 7,500 can be used for pred. Pred, by the way, is derp spelled backwards. So they're the enemy of the Derp Birds. It's just spelled in reverse. That's again a lot of the idea for derplings that came from the community, like the name derpling. The idea for pred came from the community. We've let them like come up with a lot of the things that we've done for the project. But so with pred, the way it works is you can actually send either a derpling or a derp bird to get a pred, but we limited it so that only 2,500 derplings could be used. And only 2,500 derp birds can be used. So people did the 2,500 cap on derplings, I want to say probably in the first week
or was that because they were quote unquote less valuable in terms of ADA? Got it.
Yeah, and we knew for sure that would happen. It's really fun, the psychology of like planning the roadmap. We knew for sure that would happen. They would blow through the derplings really quick, and then as long as derp birds have a higher floor than pred, it would be really weird to give up a derp bird unless you like the fun of it. And
so you have to burn the bird.
So that's another good question, and I can see why you'd be really confused if you're looking at a derp birds and like I'm hearing the assumptions you're making. We don't burn them. They're locked up. What we're saying is basically they're locked up and they're not being burned. Those OG derp birds and those derplings aren't being burned. They're sitting in a wallet. And what we told the community from the start is we might at some point in the future allow people to go on rescue missions to retrieve the derplings and the derp birds that they locked up. The whole point of it from an NFT meta sort of point of view is to reduce the supply temporarily for any period of time that we feel like is a good idea. So as we saw the sort of, there wasn't a lot of growth happening in the Cardano NFT space. Again, we know that'll change in the future. But what we wanted to do is come up with a mechanic that would reduce the supply for a period of time. We don't want to permanently burn them. We don't want to destroy them. But we wanted to just take them off the market for a period of time, and then with the option of allowing people to go back and rescue them later.
Right.
So that was a lot of the inspiration behind the whole pred mechanic.
That's really cool and creative and innovative. I mean, in my opinion, I think it's really cool.
It was a nightmare to build. Like a lot of these things are more complicated than they need to be. Like we did the incubator and the derplings, and a lot of people have done the breeding mechanic. Like that's a pretty normal thing, but we wanted to do it in a really different way. We still wanted the idea. We liked the idea of following the NFT meta and doing baby NFTs of your collection and like doing breeding. But we wanted the incubator to be like this robotic machine device that like your OML derper. Yeah, dude, and it was a ton of fun.
This is so cool. I'm having such a good time right now, getting a clear vision and understanding what you guys have been up to, the intentions. Because think about it. Like you hop into a Discord, you want to buy dirt, and this is any project. I'm not saying just you guys, but you want to, you hop in the Discord. And then you say, hey guys, what do I buy? And then you have this guy saying buy pred. You have this guy saying buy bird. Oh, but make sure you need an egg. And now your head's exploding. You're like, what the fuck? Why do which one do I buy and why? And how should I plan? And wait, did people know that the preds would come out with the eggs? And it's overwhelming and it's hard. So I'm really happy that this is going live right now. So anyone who's thinking about buying a derp bird can pull up JPEG Store, pull up Discord, and then listen to this at the same time and get a clearer picture and an understanding.
It's definitely a double-edged sword, right? Like we had an insane amount of fun, like one innovating, right? Like coming up with new interesting ways to do things.
Yeah.
By the way, like the pred is a great example. That pred invasion, I don't know if you've done it yourself, but that Cardano Thor actually just yesterday posted a video of him going through it. It's hilarious. Like, you
Meaning,
should check it out.
I saw that. So meaning that was just describing what it looks like to put your derp with an egg, right?
That was him. That was a live record. It was, I mean, it was edited, but like of him going through that workflow. And dude, I'll send you the URL after this. Like, dude, I'll send you a Derp Bird to do it with. Like, but like you should go through. It's fun. Like we put a lot of time and effort into like building that to make it this immersive experience, rather than just like sending off one NFT and getting another back. We wanted to make it like this more immersive experience.
I love that. Just like the Dead Pixels mint, the Alessandro Buds mint. Yeah, shit like that, man. I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. And it gives us such a good impression.
That is the reason why when we came into the space, like what we wanted to focus on was minting, because we made some mistakes in that regard. We sort of went off too far thinking about minting, and DerpBirds sort of lost some momentum from that. But the focus on minting was, at the time we were minting project, like I was minting Cardano NFTs in July and August and September, and it was Google Docs, or it was like copy this wallet address and send ADA here, and we wanted to come in and improve the space in that regard. And that's been what I think why we got the attention of projects like Cornucopias. It's also like we have an NDA right now. We're under NDA with IOHK. We're working on something with them because they saw the pred. Shout outs to our community who harassed the IOHK team until they finally saw the pred transaction. Let's just, again, that's why it's so important to have such a strong core community. But the pred transaction is what IOHK saw it, and they have something that they're working on. And so again, I can't really talk about. We're under NDA with them, but we have we've been on several calls with them at this point, and it was because of that effort that we put into improving the minting experience. So yeah, that's been a large focus of and there's other teams, by the way, who have done awesome things. Like I'm seeing more and more projects who are really kicking ass with like the minting experience. It's immersive, it's fun, and I think like it absolutely should be. Like it really should be a
dude.
A fun
I completely agree, especially since you are literally you are expecting the customer to send you money. Give them some entertainment, give them an experience. I couldn't agree more. I think this is even part of it. I'm not saying that ETH does this better, but a lot of people recently have been talking about the cool kids are on ETH and we're the nerds, right? Well, I mean, it's whatever. I have my own thoughts about that. However, these cool minting experiences, these cool understandings of human psychology and giving some entertainment to the people for your minting experience, like this is what we can do on Cardano. This is the cool stuff that also separates us. I don't know many ETH minting experiences. However, I know the sky's the limit on Cardano, and you can do cool ass shit.
Yeah, totally. I with some of the things that we heard, like with the derplings, we wrote a Medium article about multi-sig transactions too, and like there's a video embed of like someone going through, actually I think it was me recording that video, going through and hatching an egg to get a derpling, and it was people talked about it is sort of a similar experience to opening a pack of Pokemon cards, and in general that's what minting feels like, right? You're like, what am I going to get? Am I going to get something super rare? And dude, I distinctly remember standing in the lobby of a Walmart as a kid, like, you know, like opening packs of Pokemon cards and how much fun that was. Literally crying, like when my brother would get. I remember the day he got that goddamn holographic Charizard before me. Like,
oh my
standing there, I was crying in Walmart, like, you know. And so like creating that emotional experience of like minting.
Exactly.
Yeah. Again, not every project. It's not going to be, you know, like Cornucopias, for example. They don't necessarily. They have their own whole focus. It's a huge metaverse and everything.
Same with
like,
Claymates. I don't think they've ever done a minting process like that either. However,
but they have their own different focus.
What they have done that I really like, that for some reason a lot of projects just aren't completely getting, is this. I love the way. In my opinion, again, I guess it could just be a way to slow rug in one's point of view. But I love that for the Good Charlotte collection, they gave it 1 of 1 to every Clay Nation, and they only gave 24 hours or 48 hours or something, and then they cut the supply.
Yep.
You know, they said, okay, fuck it, that's it. We don't, we're not gonna, be if you guys don't mint them, that's on the community. And then they
Totally.
then they do the same thing for all their holders. They just keep rewarding them in a similar fashion as Bored Ape Yacht Club. Just the holders keep getting rewarded in that manner, whereas a lot of, I don't know, for example, like Zombie Chains did a second drop, and they did half public, half whitelist. And it's like what's the point of that? You're just, in my opinion, you're just diluting the market. Now, some people would say it gives the opportunity for more people, but there's there's different ways of doing it. But I feel like Clay was the most successful one of doing the whitelist thing.
Yeah. I think there's something to be said too about like the popularity of the project. Clay Nation is like indisputably, I think the most popular project. Like, Space Buds, I think they're still above on volume, right?
Neck and neck, yeah.
Neck and neck. But I think in terms of marketing, dude, like,
Yeah.
Clay has killed it. Like they're incredible. And I think that 1-to-1 type thing, the fact that they did that for a 24-hour window for the Good Charlottes, and they, what was it, 9,400 or something?
That's 90. Yeah, you're right. I didn't even realize that's 95%. Yeah.
Dude, it's like no other project could achieve. In terms of like getting that participation rate, to put a label on it, like participation rate, because what had to happen for to get 94% participation rate, you had to have a desired product. And what makes it desired? Well, people come into the NFT space predominantly to make money. So if the Clay NFTs are worth a lot, and at the time they weren't worth what they are now, but they were definitely already blowing up at that phase.
Already, yeah.
It made it super desirable for people to jump in. It's like, yeah, of course I want to participate in that. I do wonder, like, who are those 500 holders that?
I know. Yeah. Oh, imagine being one of those people now. Well, I mean, not that it's like life-changing money, but still, you never know.
It will be one day, I'm sure.
I think so. So let's circle back. So we have our Derp Birds, and then we have the eggs. And okay, wait, remind me. Did the Preds and the Derplings come at the same time?
No, so the Pred came way out. The Derplings were November, and then to fill in the gaps there, and there's another collection in there that I want to talk about because it speaks to your point, and it's something that I think is also worth being transparent about as well. So we did Derplings in November. In December, we didn't have anything major in December. We were working on things. We were working on the achievement system, and we launched the achievement system in the first week of January. So the achievement system is also in its own right, and it's not an NFT collection in any way, but it's actually as sophisticated as our most complex transaction. Like the achievement system is such, to a point that our engineer Geek, who is, a legend, he almost hates the achievement system. It's so complex because it uses historic blockchain data. Like, for example, let's say you minted an OG DerpBird in September and you've never connected your wallet to a DerpBirds account, like on our website. If you go connect that wallet to it, you create an account today and you connect your wallet, it will give you the achievement for having a DerpBird, and it will backdate it to the day that you minted it. So he has to traverse time, like as a time traveler, going through the blockchain and finding when the holder satisfied the conditions for that achievement, and then gives them that date as when they unlock the achievement. So we don't there's nothing that we've done that we've half-assed. Like we didn't have to do that. We could have made it much easier.
And honestly, it kind of went over my head, but that's okay. Why is that significant? I missed that.
It's really significant because I think more than it's not necessarily significant in that as a collector, you're like, oh my God, yes, this was backdated. As much as it just speaks to, I think, the desire for us to do things the right way. We want to make sure that, like, if you connect your wallet in July of 2022, but you've been holding that DerpBird in that wallet since September, that's when that DerpBird first hit your wallet. We want to make sure that, like, we're recognizing that And so it's just, in our mind, it's just like doing it the right way.
Oh,
it's
that's
making
cool.
sure that we're,
I understand.
So it's a nightmare though, dude, as you can imagine. And so we've had 10,000 people. Okay, so maybe careful. Like, we've had 10,000 people who have earned XP in our system. XP, I won't go too much into that, but like you earn XP from chatting in Discord, from earning achievements, or from, as soon as the staking system goes live here in the next couple of days, through staking as well. And so we've had 10,000 people since January who've participated in the project in some capacity. And it's important for us to make sure that, that we're getting those like achievement dates right. So we're making sure that you're getting credit for having unlocked an achievement when you unlocked it. But back to the timeline. That was January. We launched the achievement system. It was around the end of January. We published this tweet that it kind of blew up for the Cardano space. It got like 1,000 likes and a ton of retweets. And we were talking about multi-sig transactions. I was fed up. I was on a date with my girlfriend, and the DerpBirds community can tune out. They've heard this story multiple times. But I was on a date with my girlfriend. Wasn't supposed to be looking at my phone, right? Because I'm like always glued to Twitter. And she went to the bathroom, so I pull out my phone at dinner, and I see like multiple tweets from people who know us. I don't like the term influencers, but they're sort of like influencers in the space, and they're like, there has to be a better solution for minting. And I'm like, you know that there is. It's multi-sig. Teams can be building using multi-sig, and that's a better solution. And so I got home from dinner that night. I published this tweet. I'll send you a link after. It's like I'm pretty proud of that tweet. But it's this huge tweet thread, and it talks about the benefits of multi-sig, and it blew up. And so that was like early January, if I'm not mistaken. Cornucopias hit us up, and they're like, hey, we'd like to talk to you about working with you for some of our upcoming mints and so on. And then we got really sidetracked working on minting technology. I bring that up because it's important in the roadmap of DerpBirds, because in full transparency, and our core community, the people who would be watching this live stream, they're familiar. They've called us out on this. We got so focused on minting technology that we got sidetracked, and so DerpBirds kind of suffered from that. Because if you think about it, like the DerpBirds NFT project is detached from our work on minting technology. Our work on minting technology is sort of a I don't want to call it a gift. That sounds really narcissistic, but like a gift to the Cardano NFT space. We want to push that forward. We want to push the minting experience forward on Cardano. But if you're holding a DerpBird, you don't really benefit from our focus on minting. And so in retrospect, we kind of regret it a bit because we got too sidetracked on that, but it led to some really interesting opportunities. And so for the most of January and for most of February, we were so focused on minting technology that we didn't really do much with DerpBirds until we did the Derp Apes. And it's sort of a controversial thing.
You have a collection that are Derp Apes?
Yep. And I'm kind of stoked that you don't know this. That's kind of cool. But we did them as one for two reasons. Our artist, who goes by Art, his name's James. He's my best friend for like 7 years.
Oh.
Yeah, we've worked together for years, and he started drawing apes as a joke, like playing on the ape meta, and the community loved them. They were memeing with them constantly, and so we decided to use them as a test, sort of as a test for our multi-sig technology. We wanted to continue developing the technology, and we needed to do something on the mainnet. You can't test on testnet and get a real experience because it's not the same. You don't have the same kind of hype. You don't have the same kind of engagement. And as you know, like, dude, think back to January, February, March, like how congested the chain was and how long it took to get a transaction to go through. So we needed a mint that was it was a regular mint on the mainnet. We did the Derp Apes, and a lot of people loved them. We had a lot of new people come into the same argument you said about like zombie chains. We actually had a lot of new people come into the project. In fact, one of the biggest holders, one of the biggest holders in our community he has very few derps, like DerpBirds and DerpBirds. He has over 400 Derp Apes. He's a core member of the
10,000?
It was 8,800. 888.
And how'd you distribute them?
It was just complete open public mint. And again, the reason why is because we needed to replicate something. We needed to do something that would have no constraints. We needed people to hit it as hard as they could to test the limitations of multisig. So again, by the way,
that's why you did it, to test?
Yep. And so the
Oh.
JPEG store Hippo meant, like, when they ran into those issues a few weeks ago, they had some complications. I'm fairly confident I could. Well, I shouldn't say that. I think I probably know what the issues were they were running into. Minting with multisig is very difficult. In fact, if anyone from JPEG Store is watching and they want to talk, like, we haven't talked to them about their multisigs. We don't know if we're of the opinion that multisig is not the best way to handle open mints. It does a lot of. It's very difficult to handle the sort of the async. Sort of the synchronous processes that need to occur to handle minting, and typically the blockchain Cardano handles a bunch of those things.
Right.
When you do multisig, you take all of that processing off of the blockchain and you bring it to your own backend system. And we saw this with Cornucopias. It was a really unfortunate event, but your system just gets completely overwhelmed. You can end up with duplicate NFTs going out. A lot of issues can arise.
Wow.
So we did Derp Apes in February, to get back on track here. We did Derp Apes in February as sort of a test, as sort of to continue developing the multisig minting technology. Then we did some work with Cornucopias. We handled their first mint.
Wow.
It went. There were 14,000 unique wallets for that mint. The system held up barely, dude. Like, we were all sweating like crazy for that mint. And then their second mint is where, and I haven't talked about this publicly, by the way. Like, the second mint with them is where we had issues. And so that Javelin, I don't know if you follow Cornucopias at all, but their second mint was the Javelins. It's a vehicle.
The car
NFT.
things. Yeah.
Yeah. So the bubble jets are like the cars, and the Javelins are sort of like the motorcycle type thing. Sort of a. Anyways, and we ran into issues with that transaction where ultimately what ended up happening, to save you all the boring details of the technical stuff, is that everything just got overwhelmed. Systems got completely overwhelmed. The queue system was having a hard time keeping up. There was an insane amount of demand for them. And everything sort of went to shit, to be frank. And that was very difficult. It was a very difficult thing to handle, because we were handling their mint, and we messed that up. That was on us. It was our technology that failed. It's a huge learning lesson for us. We've always owned our mistakes, and we've made plenty of mistakes in the past. But that was a big sort of misstep for us. So back on track then. Pred came, I want to say it's April, mid-April or something.
But with 15,000 eggs, people knew you guys were going to do something else, right?
Exactly. Yeah. They all along, and we told them from the start, like, yeah, 7,500 will be for derplings, and the other 7,500 will be used for other things. And dude, I really hope you go through and do one Pred invasion, because we came up with this really cool system. I don't want to go too in depth here, but like, it's called battle preparedness. And so rather than tying rarity, we wanted to sort of take the focus off the rarity, because it's not as much fun. Like, if you're just hyper focused on getting the most rare Pred NFT, you may not have as much fun with it. And so what we did was, people get too hyper focused on that. You should like the NFT for. We were trying to fix the mistake that we made with the original collection, where we put the rarity in the name. We're trying to go the far other direction. We're like, you know what, guys, don't worry about the rarity. So we came up with this ranking system instead. So there's 4 ranks of Pred, and there's rank 1 through 4. And the higher ranks have more attributes, and so in theory they look cooler, right? They're sort of combative characters, and they have like more equipment the higher rank that they are. And so we of course knew that rank 4 would be the most rare, but we wanted people to focus more on the fun factor of getting a higher ranked NFT than the rarity factor. And so we came up with this what we call battle preparedness. And so let's say you have a legendary Derp Bird that you're going to send for a Pred. You would get a really high battle preparedness score. Mm-hmm. The higher your score is, the more likely you are to get a higher ranked Pred.
Right.
And this is where the eggs come in again, where one egg was required, as you mentioned earlier, but you can actually send as many additional eggs as you want to further boost your battle preparedness score.
Wow.
And so that means that it's impossible for us to ever reach 5,000 Preds. We have a limit on 5,000 Preds, but we'll never hit that limit because there's not enough eggs left
for
us to hit that. So again, it was just something else that we did for fun to, again, try to make it an interesting experience for people when they're minting their NFTs. Is, do you want to give up your Derp Bird? You might be able to get it back later. How many eggs do you want to use? And it's hilarious, dude. Like, actually, is it okay if I share my screen?
Yeah,
I don't know if you, I see I have a share screen button. Let me show you something.
Do it.
Like, I'm gonna share this. All right, can you see my screen?
I can.
You see the Derp Birds website?
Yeah, just wait like 20 seconds for the delay, just to see if people are saying they can. I just want to make sure they can all see it.
Cool. Let me tab into Discord here.
I think they can.
Oh, they can't see it. Okay, so.
Really?
Okay, I won't do it then, but I'll
Wait,
send it to
hang
you
on.
after. Oh wait. Oh wait, some people are saying yes. Some people. Oh, okay, now
Yeah,
they can. You're right.
Yeah, I did it.
It
Alright,
was. It was a delay.
Go for it.
Okay, so the thing I wanted to show you was, so we have this explore page here where you can. This is very similar to like Spacebuds, where you can go through and see everything. We just have a ton of additional variables. Like we have this idea of like virgin Derp Birds, whether or not they ever use the incubator way back in November. You can see these ones that are like highlighted in
Because
red.
they can
These are
only
ones-
use it once.
Exactly. And well, except for commons and uncommons. And so back in the day, the virgins were sought out because people wanted them to incubate with. And because, by the way, when you invade with Pred, if you had a virgin Derp Bird still, you got an additional bonus to your battle preparedness score.
Right.
So we made virgins, like, I don't know, someone from the community, I'm fairly certain, came up with the idea of like, oh, we should do something with virgins. But what I want to show you was, if we look at the Pred collection, we can actually, if we go to the rank 4s here, you can actually, this guy is my favorite one to look at, because what we've done is, this is what someone sent.
Whoa.
They sent this Derp Bird, which is a legendary Derp Bird, dude. The floor, by the way, thanks to Drams, if he's watching, he just swept the legendary floor. The floor for legendaries is 15,000 ADA now. So
Yeah, I saw that.
someone sent this legendary Derp Bird. And so, by the way, we've built this system so you can, like, if you look at a Derp Bird and it's been captured, you can see which Pred was created from that Derp Bird.
Yeah.
You can also see this Derp Bird's eggs that it created. And if that egg
is
was
so
hatched, you would be able
cool.
to. Dude, we have so much fun building these things. But, like, look at this, dude. Like, look at. Someone sent that legendary Derp Bird, and they were
20.
guaranteed.
Is there anyone even close to this?
I don't have a way to like query that on my own, but like looking at other rank 4s, like, okay, so this guy sent
Yeah,
quite a
close.
few. Dude, there's a guy. Again, I don't like to like name names because I feel bad for not mentioning more people. But like, there's a guy who's like now notorious in the community. All he did was send derplings, and he never sent a bonus egg, and he got a ton of rank 4 Preds. Like,
Wow.
and I'll show you real quick. Like, look at this. Maybe I'll do one live here. So this is the Pred invasion. It's still open because we haven't hit 5,000 Pred. But if you go into this, I'll see if I can replicate.
It's probably a good idea for you to do one live.
I don't know if I have any eggs in this wallet. I think I literally did a ton of invasions the other day, so I think I'm completely out of eggs. But what I wanted to show, but if someone wants to send me, if Voix, if you're watching, we have someone in our community who has like, he's like hoarding 100 eggs.
Someone send him an egg. And also, everyone, really quick, everyone watching, just please like the video. There's more views than likes.
Please do.
It'll help. It'll help
Please do.
get more people to stumble across this.
Okay, so the battle preparedness system that I was explaining to you, this is sort of that thing I was talking about. So in this case, I've clicked on, this is the bird I want to, he's the target. This is sort of from the point of view of the Pred, this immersive experience. And so I can see that this is the bird, and that I get 10 battle preparedness score for the fact that he's uncommon. If I can't do a derpling, but you can see like this derpling gets plus 15, a derpling gets 15, and then he has a dad bod tag. I won't go into detail about what that is, but he gets a little bonus for that. This guy here, this guy has again, I'm not going to explain it, but you see this guy has a higher battle preparedness score. So when I scroll over these with my mouse, I can see that with 10 battle preparedness score, I only have a 1% chance of getting a ring 4. Because I have a battle preparedness score of 55, if I use this asset, then I'm guaranteed rank 2. And I can see that by hovering over this. I can't even get a rank 1. You see how it says 0% there? So I'll get a rank 2. I have an 81% chance to get a rank 2. And then every one of these that I go up, I get a higher and higher percent chance of getting, those higher ranks. So that person who sent that legendary Derp Bird and all of those eggs, they were for sure at 220 battle preparedness. So they were guaranteed a rank 4.
Right.
Wait,
so by sending more eggs, it only guarantees, it doesn't improve the actual pred. Like
so what it does with every additional egg, so I don't have any eggs. So this is the first step where you would select, I don't know how anyone's gonna send me an egg. I haven't given them my wallet address. But anyways, actually, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just buy an egg real quick.
Buy an egg. Buy an egg.
Let's do it. Buy an egg real quick and sign this. Should be good. My password's gonna be hidden. Safe. Okay, so I'll buy an egg, and yeah, we'll circle back to this. But so while I'm waiting for that egg to hit my wall, I'll probably have to refresh the page.
No problem. Thank you for everyone liking. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So this was the last, so we'll come back to this in a second. I'll keep refreshing until that egg appears. But basically, this was the last major roadmap feature we did, and I'm saying this now because I know if I go into Discord right now, they're gonna be like, dude, stop talking about the stuff you guys have already done. And people are eager for me to talk about the future, but
no, but it's more important if they thought a little bit past that, it would realize it's more important to educate people.
Well, what I think is really important and what we want to demonstrate to anyone who might watch this in the future or maybe watching that isn't up to speed with DerpBirds is I think the significance of talking about and showing what we've done in the past is to demonstrate sort of our commitment to doing things the right way. And this is, by the way, this to date is the most complex minting transaction on Cardano.
Hell yeah.
It is.
Boom.
I think we get
Mic
sort
drop.
of a reputation because our name is Derp Birds, and people are it's sort of misleading.
That's
they think
sick. I like it. It's
so,
derp.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute, dude. Actually, wait a minute. Let me. Actually, I don't know if you can hear the audio coming through, but I'll go ahead and cut it out in case it was super loud. But yeah, we had this music. We wanted to have this really immersive experience. Okay, let's see if the egg is through.
I'm sure the egg is there.
Okay, there it is.
All
so
right.
I can select this egg, and you'll see I get no additional boost because one egg is required. I have to use at least one egg. This next step here, okay, I can't. I'm not even going to talk about egg shards. It complicates things too much. Actually, I will. There was a small chance that every derpling hatched back in November could fail, and if the hatch failed, you got a shard. And we didn't reveal what the shards were for. We just
What were the odds that they would fail, and why?
Okay, so this is a funny story. There was a 1% chance. I'm a little drunk, and I'm totally going to misrepresent this, but
right.
I think there was a 1% chance. But what we ended up doing was and the community figured this out, dude. Every 100 hatchings, the 100th hatching would be a shard. And people in the community figured this out. So you would have they didn't figure it out until much later. We were at 5,000 derplings had been hatched, but people started figuring it out. And so everyone, as soon as we'd get close to let's say 5,100 derplings, everyone would be pausing and waiting, and then everyone would go through and try to hatch to get a shard. And so we just wanted to make it interesting. We wanted to add a little twist to say maybe hatching your derpling could fail. But if it did, you actually get something that's more rare than the derpling itself. And then what we did with that is we have a contest that literally no one has completed yet, where if you get 25 of these shards and you turn them in, you get a special reward. There's one person in the community who has 25 shards and he hasn't turned them in. And I think the reason why he's not going to turn them in is because the staking rewards for shards is pretty sweet. And so maybe he'll do it one day, maybe he won't.
Oh,
but
wow.
you can use shards for invasions, and it doubles your score. Double my score. It's going to give me from 10 to 20. But if you have 90, it would boost you up to, you know,
Holy
above 170
shit.
to 180.
So why did that guy use so many eggs, and why didn't he just use some shards?
Because shards are so expensive. Like they're very rare, and they're super expensive. And so
was there a max on how many shards there could be?
There only 75. Only because there's 7,500 derplings, and every 100th hatching there was a shard. So there can only be 75. I need to give this one away. By the way, this was okay. Yeah, I forget how I ended. Oh, okay. Somehow I ended up with the last 4. I think it's because there was a problem with the math or something, and so there was like 4 that never got put out into circulation, and so we've given 3 away up to this point, and so I've always said, I was like, I'm never going to use a shard. I'll never keep a shard for myself. They're all going to be used for giveaways, and so this is the last one that we need to give away. Anyways, we go to finalize, and there's a confirmation that shows here's the Derp Bird I'm going to give up, and here's the egg I'm going to use for the fuel. And so we'll begin the invasion. We didn't charge for the pred, although there is dust fees based on how many NFTs you're sending.
And for anyone begging for the sound to be on, maybe you'll just have to do it yourself and see what it's like with the sound on.
Put it on in the background. Like, put it on the background here. It's so I don't know how loud it's going to come through if I play it. Okay, so now we're going to wait for Cardano to process the transaction. And so we have this little waiting period. And by the way, I've done 50. I think this is will be my 50th invasion. And so there's an achievement for doing 50 invasions, which means I'm going to get a ton of XP for this. But then number 2 is I've done 50 invasions and I still haven't gotten a single rank 4. Oh, here it is. Okay. So dude, this is a rank 2. Or wait, this is a rank. No, this is a rank 1. Like, this isn't even a rank 2. So this is literally the lowest rank pred I could.
Oh, wow.
Get. So I have terrible luck, dude. But anyways, I hope that was cool. I'll stop sharing my screen now. But yeah, that was the pred experience. And again, it's been the pred experience that got us sort of on IOHK's radar. Like, and a lot of people, I think a lot of people had a ton of fun with it. But it was way more effort than we needed to put into that. It was a ton of time to build something that would come up with a battle preparedness system and everything. But I hope that, again, anyone watching this later on who isn't already into Derp Birds, like the thing that I would want that to communicate is, like, I think it shows our commitment to actually doing something that's different. You talked about it earlier, that immersive experience of minting, and like
it's so important in my opinion. Yeah. Okay, cool. I think we have the past and everything kind of wrapped up. Do you want to talk about what a new holder should expect moving forward?
Yes, and I would first direct them to our pinned tweet on the Derp Birds Twitter, which is @DerpBirds NFT, is a whole thread that talks about the future, and so go check that out. But that will be more coherent than anything I'm about to say, because I'm definitely a little tipsy. But basically, so we have Derp that's coming up soon, our token. And we were honestly, we're a couple days late on this. We're running into some issues because, once again, we refuse to half-ass anything.
Yeah.
So the way that we're handling, exactly, it's just not worth it to us. And we plan on being here for a really long time. And so this system, this transaction that we're building for claiming Derp, the Derp token, is really important for us to get right. Mm-hmm. So we're not going to half-ass it. We're going to make sure it's done right. So we are a little bit behind. But Derp is launching soon, and of course the most important thing, a lot of NFT projects are doing their own token, but the most important thing is, what is the use?
Yes.
Right? That's
everyone's got a token right now, and then whoever comes out at that moment, the price goes up, and then they get forgotten in 2 weeks. It's a very standard thing. Yeah.
So let's talk about that first, actually, because I'd love to hear your opinion on that. One of the questions that we get a lot of is this going to be listed on exchanges? Is there going to be a liquidity pool that's put up for the token? Meaning, are we going to create a trading pair, and so on? And so I want to go ahead and I saw someone asking this early in general. Actually, it was Drams. Drams asked about this in chat earlier. And so the answer to this is it going to be listed on an exchange? Anyone can list a token on MinSwap or SundaySwap. Anyone who's holding that token can create a trading pair. So it will be listed there, even if we don't do it, it will be listed there. The question of whether or not we're going to take our treasury of ADA and create a trading pool, the answer is no. And I know that some people are going to respond negatively to that, but the reason why is ours is a utility token. We're creating the token for a particular use, not as a speculative asset. And I think by even doing that, like, we're more likely to get it classified as a security. We definitely don't. It is strictly a utility token that has use. The second reason why we wouldn't do it is because we would. I mean, name to me, dude. You have ETH NFTs. I don't know how plugged in you are to Solana NFTs, but I haven't seen many cryptocurrencies from NFT projects that don't get destroyed that against their trading pair of the native token of the
Well, the only thing well, I mean, again, it followed the same pattern, but ApeCoin went absolutely ape shit, and then it and I don't know where it is now, but I know it definitely went all the way down to like between $3 and $5, and it was at 30 at one point, or like 25, something like that.
There's other examples, like another project on Ethereum, Cybercons, that at one point was really popular. There's a ton of YouTubers who were covering that coin, who were covering their coin called Banana. And at one point, it was worth a ton. They were I don't know if they were one of the first, but they were definitely the most popular in terms of NFT project had a token. The Banana token was really popular. People were making a lot of money off that. And I checked on it recently, and yeah, same thing. It's got completely obliterated. And so if you create a trading, a liquidity pool, and you throw your treasury
then it becomes
into that liquidity pool,
it almost like devalue would be a misconstrued word here, but it almost like demeans the coin or deflates its value in a sense.
It creates a situation where, like, the one reason why we've held off on launching a token for so long is for this exact reason. I thought it creates another metric of failure. So if you have a token, if you launch a currency for your project and it gets obliterated, by the way, spoiler alert, they're all going to get obliterated. It almost looks like as if it's a failure. And so we were really reluctant to do this, to launch a token from the whole time, this whole time, because we were worried about that. So why does it get obliterated is a good question. Like, why does it happen to all of them? And it's no project's fault. We can use the Kopi token from Cornucopias. We could use Yumi Universe. We could use the ApeCoin. We could use Banana. You could use Dust, which is DGods from Solana. They're the top project on Solana. You could use their token for an example. They all get obliterated because the majority of people come into NFTs to make money. And if you set up a trading pool, a liquidity pool, and let's say we put
now that also makes me ask a question too. All these coins have been released in this recent bear market too. You think that's a factor? I mean, it kind of has to be too, but no, there is just a definite standard psychological element to it.
Well, you think about this. Like, imagine that we announce, "Hey guys, we're gonna launch we're gonna list it on MinSwap, and we're gonna set up a liquidity pool of, let's say, 500,000 ADA." If you are paying attention, if you're a collector and you're like, okay, well, I've seen Yumi Universe, I've seen the Kopi token, I've seen the Banana token, the ApeCoin, I've seen all of them get wrecked, basically, or lose a lot of their value, then the incentive for me to sell as soon as I get Derpcoin, the Derp token, is really high, because I anticipate that it's going to get obliterated as well. So let me cash out as quickly as I can. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not calling out collectors who would do that, and in any way. There's nothing wrong with
when I get airdropped my clay token, I have 430 pieces of land, so I'm gonna get over 2 million clay token. Dude. Yeah, I'm selling. I'll say it publicly because I know. Well, I mean, to be fair, even if it, on the off chance that it does absolutely blow up, I personally don't care because I have so many other clays that I don't mind if it blows up because I still have more. So I'm not saying I'm dumping on the market, but I'm selling because I'm going to be managing my risk. And I do expect, just like we've been talking about, that even my favorite NFT project on the planet, I think their token is going to have a hype cycle.
For sure. And again, it doesn't speak to the efforts or the quality or like how great of a project clinician. It has nothing to do with that.
No.
It has to do completely with the fact that even if you just said it, it's your favorite project on the planet. It has nothing to do with whether or not you like the project.
Yeah.
It just makes good sense. Anyone should do that. So for us to do that, one, it sort of goes against our argument that our token is strictly a utility token. We like to think of it as like a coin that you earn in an arcade, or a ticket that you earn in an arcade that you would turn in. And I'll talk about the utility here in a second.
That's cool.
But that brings us into another sort of meta, sort of psychological point of view, which is what gives something value to begin with. Why do the currencies, the cryptocurrencies for these NFT projects get obliterated? Like, it's the fact that someone wants to make money off of it, which again, you can't fault anyone for that. That's just them being smart.
Yeah.
But what gives someone value, and or what gives something value, and it's its use. It's the utility of that thing. So if you have a car and it doesn't work, its utility goes to zero or near zero. You could scrap it for parts, but it's its use. And so I think, and I want to repeat something I said, is that anyone can create a trading pair between Derp and ADA, or Derp and Yumi, or Derp and Clay, or Derp and Kopi, or any other token. Anyone can create that trading pair.
Yeah.
The only way that a token will, I think, gain value is either it's speculative, right? Like with ApeCoin, people were buying a ton of it because they thought it was going to keep going up, or it's because it has very real use that people can't get enough of the token, so they buy it. And so it's not to say that in the future Derp won't go to the moon. We're not making any guarantees or anything, but what our plan is just to continue building utility for the token. And that sort of segue into what the first use for the token. We are launching more or less alongside the token its first use, which is this raffle system. And the raffle system is based off of, full disclaimer, a project on Solana, which DerpBirds, I don't know how familiar you are with the Solana projects, but I'm not either. Full disclosure, I have been following the community, the Solana community, a little more closely lately. I'm just like more interested in what's going on there. But there's a project called DerpBirds, and they, by the way, shout outs to our friends at StockTwits who told us about this project, and we should talk more about StockTwits as well. This project called DerpBirds on Solana. I'm gonna misrepresent the exact idea, but they launched some time ago. They were the 20th or like 25th biggest project or something like that. I don't remember the exact number. And they launched their token, what's called Dust. And they launched a raffle system where in this raffle shop, you're able to buy raffle entries for NFTs from other projects. So on Cardano, that'd be Clean Nation, Spacebuds, and so on. And that project is now the #1 project on Solana. They blew up. And it wasn't just the raffle system that did that. It's also because they have a really tight-knit, awesome core community of people who were there until Solana's servers turn off for good. They're not going anywhere. And I love their community, dude. They are the Solana community. We talked about this earlier. Like Cardano is a little more nerdy. Like I think Solana is like a lot of tech bros and such. And it's a little cringe, of course, but so is the Cardano community.
Yeah.
But like that project, literally, its climb to #1 is insane. It is awesome to watch what happened with that project. So of course, we took cues from that. And we wanted, the beauty of the raffle system is it's strictly giving back to the community. What we're basically saying is you earn Derp through converting XP. You earn XP from chatting in Discord, from engaging with the DerpBirds Twitter account, from unlocking achievements, and from staking Derp NFTs. We do non-custodial staking. You don't have to lock up your assets. You just hold them in your wallet and you earn XP. You convert your XP to Derp. You spend your Derp on raffle entries for these NFTs. So we have Clays, we have Spacebuds that we're going to put in there. We have the first one we're doing is a Dead Pixel. All of our favorite projects. We'll of course have Derp NFTs in there as well. But we're doing, and it's coming from the founders from our wallets. We are putting our own NFTs in the raffle shop for people to spend Derp on raffle entries for those NFTs. Oh. So that's the whole point of the raffle system. It's sort of give back to the community in a way, to say like, yeah, thanks for holding our, for being a part of our community. And you maybe have a chance of getting a Dead Pixel or Spacebud or Clay NFTs or whatever. So, if you're someone like Drams who already has, or like yourself who has a ton of space buds and clays, like the chance of winning one additional one's probably not super exciting. But I think for the average collector, what we were trying to do is say, hey, broader Cardano NFT community,
Yeah.
our roadmap is confusing, and maybe it's not super, like, you're not super into it, like, that's fine, like, not every project is for everyone, but we want to create a utility that would be fun and rewarding for people who maybe aren't super into our roadmap, because it's a very specific, very niche roadmap, ours. And so, but now anyone, like, by participating in our project, you have a chance of winning a Cleanation NFT, or Spacebud, or Dead Pixel, or Goat Tribe, or Wakasi, Yumi Universe, like whatever we put in there. So that's the whole idea behind the first use of the Derp token.
First use, take sip.
Yeah, and so hopefully that's coming in the next week or so.
But how long is staking, and then when will the Derp token? When should we expect the Derp token?
So Derp token is supposed to be out already, but yeah, here in the next couple of days. Staking, the way that staking works is it just works every epoch. As I mentioned, it's non-custodial, so you don't have to sign smart contracts. We're not locking up your assets. We're like taking cues from Cardano. Like with Cardano, you don't have to lock up your ADA. I mean, I don't know if you've ever staked on other like assets from other chains. Like I'm a holder, used to be a long time ago, a holder of Harmony One. And I staked my one token. There was like a 10-day lockup period. Like there's a 10-day period to
I've staked Meld. So Meld, you have to lock it up.
And it sucks. Like, to me, one of the biggest benefits of Cardano is like staking ADA is literally you delegate to a pool. You still have full control of your ADA. You can delegate to a different pool at any time. So we're taking cues from Cardano with our staking system. So we're doing non-custodial staking, where in order to get staking rewards, have a DerpBirds account, which is you just log in with Discord to the website and connect your wallet to your account. You're done. Yeah. If you have the assets in that wallet that you've connected, every 5 days, every epoch, you're earning the rewards.
Very nice. All right, so we get the Derp token. That's dope. That's Derp. What's the big vision for DerpBirds?
So yeah, it's a good question. We have 3 major things that we're looking at for like the rest of the year, and we're honestly going to bring it to the community and let them decide like which of these we pursue first, I think. So I mentioned earlier DerpBirds 2.0, which is not a big thing, right? It's not. This isn't sort of Clay is doing the Clayverse, for example. That's a really big thing that they're moving towards. And these 3 features I'm going to describe aren't of that scale. These are sort of 3. These are the next 3 features. There's DerpBirds 2.0, which is sort of that reimagining of the OG collection, and it's going to be in a new art style. It's going to be on an open policy. So that's number 1. The way that'll work, by the way, is people will just come in and swap their OGs for that 2.0. It'll be free, of course, and they'll just get the new open policy.
That's nice. So you guys are going out spending your own money and to make the 2.0s for the community.
As far as we're concerned, like it's something that we want to fix. Exactly. Yeah, we want to fix it ourselves. Like we want them to be on an open policy. And by the way, benefits of doing that, and Alessandro will be able to do some of these things with Cleanation as well, with Spacebuds as well. Yeah, is that you can fix any things that you felt were broke with the original collection. So the naming convention, for example, I mentioned earlier, we have common, uncommon, legendary. We have that in the names. So in the new collection, we won't repeat that. Like we're not going to do that. There's some typos in the metadata. So one of the rarity levels is scarce, and we typoed it as scare. And I think our community loves it at this point. Like, awesome. But I think outsiders just be like, what is that? Like, there's legendary, there's mystical, there's scare. And so there's things like that we can address. We can clean up the metadata a bit more. So we'll address things like that. So that's one of the features that's up and coming. The second is the Pred Armory, which is the customizable Pred. So we'll be releasing a way for holders to be able to acquire new attributes for their Pred, and then they can bring those to the Armory and sort of customize the look of their Pred.
Wow, that's cool.
It's like, dude, more than anything else, it's supposed to be really fun. But the sort of degen benefit to that is there are some attributes that are far more rare than others. And the way that the staking system works is the rarity of every single attribute that this is like Yumi Universe, they do it the same way. It's the rarity of every single attribute determines the total staking reward for that NFT. So if you have a pred and you have, you may have a couple really common traits on it, but if you have one really rare trait on that pred, that particular trait is going to earn you more staking rewards. And so there will be this sort of cool, I can't wait to see how it unfolds. I cannot wait to see what people do, but there'll be this really cool meta where people can look for those really rare traits and customize their pred to maximize the staking rewards for that pred. Now, that's only one factor. Later on, well, before we get to that, the third thing.
So do you get more derp if you hold higher tier derps?
Yes. So the way that it works, it's the same way. It's the rarity of the derp. That's the same for all the collections, by the way. So that's, you earn staking rewards for Derp Birds, Derp Eggs, Derplings, the Derp Egg Shards that we talked about, the Derp Apes, and the Pred. So all 6 collections will earn you staking rewards. They're weighted a bit. Derp Birds and Pred are sort of the main characters in the story. So they're sort of, they have they earn more than the others. The top earners are, again, I feel like I say all these things and like it must be very confusing, but like the perfect specimen Derp Birds, the ones that we talked about that have like all of the stoner traits or all of the astro traits, those are by far the perfect specimens are the biggest earners of the Derp Birds. And then with the Preds, of course, the higher the rank, the more rare they are, and so those earn the most derp of the Preds. So it is sort of this. It comes back to this cool like mind game. If you're trying to get a Pred, and you're like, do I want to give up a Derp Bird for this?
You got to do thinking.
If you get a rank 4, exactly,
and
if you get a rank 4 Pred, it's super worth it. You would earn a lot more with a rank 4 Pred than most Derp Birds.
Totally.
So it's something for people to think about.
All right. So after the 2.0 or 2.0.
Yeah, we have 2.0, and then we have the Pred Armory, and then the other feature that we've had people from the community mention it. We're gonna sort of talk to the community a lot more about this, but it's whether or not we do a burning mechanic for the derplings and for the drapes. We call the derp apes drapes. So it's whether or not we introduce a burning mechanic, and so we would allow people to basically burn derplings and drapes for a flat amount of derp, the token, up front. So rather than staking them, if someone wants to claim a large amount up front, this is something that again we've had a few.
Oh, that's cool.
And of course, we'll add a lot of gamified elements to that. So maybe every time you burn, these are just ideas, but every time you burn, maybe there's a chance that you get a free Pred attribute that you could use to customize a Pred. Maybe there's a rare chance that you'll get some other cool thing. We have a lot of other cool ideas of like things we want to like slide in there. It's really cool stuff.
Dude, overall, it just sounds like you guys really care.
Dude, more than anything else, like we're like, with everything that we've done so far, like our goal has been to keep it fun. Of course, we want to have a high emphasis on fun, but we want to show that like, and every project says this, and I think everyone's sincere, is that you want to return, like you want to make people who've been in the project for a long time feel as if they're benefiting from that, and as if they're getting to have the most fun, or it's they have some advantage for having been in it for the longest. So we want to make sure that we do sort of respect and sort of honor the people who've been in the community for a long time. But we do also want to keep it affordable so that if you're new and you're just jumping into the project and you're not a well with a ton of ADA, that you can still get in and have fun. And it's a huge focus of what we're trying to do. So last thing, big picture, like where are we going? And I told you earlier, we reached out to a lot of people and we asked for feedback. Like, what is it that, like, if you never got into Derp Birds, why not? And what's your perception of the project? And the most common thing I told you we heard was, the art style of the OG Derp Birds, like, maybe not really my thing. But the other thing that we heard was, and it was said in a lot of different ways, was you guys came out of the gate just like guns blazing, right? September was the launch, October was the incubator, November was multi-sig derplings. And then like, I think like people were trying to say that they were waiting for us to announce that big thing, to do that big thing, and it never came. We never announced like we're gonna, we don't want to do a metaverse, like that. We've said that from the start. We won't do a metaverse, but like I think people were waiting, like for Clay Nation, it was the announcement of the Clayverse. Well, actually, I should say they've had lots of those, right? They had the Good Charlotte collab, they had Snoop, they had the Clayverse. Like So they've had many of those like really big moments. And so that's something else we've heard is like, we were waiting for you guys to do make that announcement. And so for us, what that most likely is going to be, and we're still doing a lot of due diligence around this. It's been on the roadmap from the start, this idea of a faction war, and it's this Derp Birds versus Pred, what we call a faction war. And it could take so many different shapes, but the idea is that there is some sort of conflict. What we're trying to play with right now is how much, we're not going to build like I don't want to use traditional labels because people will get tied to some idea or another. But like the idea of building a full-on video game is a huge lift, right?
Yeah.
That's a massive endeavor. And so what we're trying to do is to determine what exactly that faction war mechanic looks like, and how much of a video game that actually becomes. And yeah, I think that's sort of the thing that we are spending a lot of time on researching right now. Like we're looking at like Unity and how feasible would it be for us to launch something like that. That is, there's this idea of Web3 games. Like you hear this phrase like, oh, that's pretty good for a Web3 game. And we don't want to do that. We want to launch, if we do something like that, we want to launch something that's legit.
Long lasting, yeah.
Exactly. Something that you don't have to be into crypto to enjoy. And you could play for free, like you could get in and have fun with that on your own. So everything that we've done to this point, I hope like everything we've done up to this point shows our commitment to doing things the right way. It shows our ability, that we have the capabilities to do the things that we say we're going to do. We talked about this when we first started talking, like so many projects that like back in September, every project had a video game on their roadmap. And it was like, dude, how are you guys going to build a video game? Like, and so up to date, it's been like proving ourselves and showing that we have.
How are you guys gonna build a video game?
How are you gonna do it, dude? Like, yeah. And
how the hell
are
you gonna build a metaverse? How the hell are you gonna build a metaverse, man? I'm talking about like all Grand Theft Auto needs to do is incorporate NFTs, and like the majority of metaverses are dead.
Did you see the Minecraft their take on NFTs lately? Like they basically, I think there were like people who were running private servers for Minecraft and who were trying to incorporate NFT tech in to like Minecraft servers. And Minecraft basically, they're like banning or shutting down those. I don't know the exact story, but they're taking such a strong, I think it's absurd. They're taking such a strong stance against NFTs, and they're saying they're doing it to protect their community. But no, dude, I completely agree. My thoughts on metaverse.
I want to talk about that really quick. I think that is like classic bear market FUD. I know for a fact within 3 to 4 years, whether it's 1 year from now or 4 years from now, Minecraft will incorporate NFTs. I could say that.
I don't know how they could.
Fact. They're full of shit. That's just bear market FUD in my opinion. And I even like back in 2018, 2019, this is the shit that I would like. People would send me news articles like because they knew I was all in on crypto. They try and scare me, or maybe they cared for me, and I would just say like show me the charts and I'll tell you the fucking news story. Like this is all the same shit. I remember Kevin O'Leary would talk shit about Bitcoin all the time back in I don't know, like 2013, 14. All of a sudden, and then all of a sudden he's an advocate. It's the same shit. And I don't know if it goes as far as conspiracy wise where like Minecraft shuts down NFTs to try and literally FUD the market so they can get a hold on the space, so it slows down. I don't know if it goes as far as that, but I think they're full of shit. I think they will definitely incorporate NFTs in time.
It just makes good sense, right? When you hear people talk about NFTs, like NFT tech in video games.
Oh, dude, are you fucking, like, I mean, have you played any, like, Battle Royale games or anything like that where you get the different skins and somehow all the skins that are $20 are just legendary? And why are they legendary? Merely because they want you to spend $20 on it. But if it was actually, hey, there's only 100 of these, and, I'm just talking about the shallow way to do it, just the more conceivable way. Hey, what if the skin is legendary because they're actually only limiting it to only 100 people can buy this skin, then it's fucking, it's also tradable at that point. I mean, you got all sorts of shit going on.
Yeah, to me, I can't think of, there's a lot of uses for NFTs, but to me, video game industry is so big, and it just seems like such a good fit, especially for Minecraft. Like the way that their entire ecosystem set up, it seems like such a good fit. So maybe you're right. Like, the conspiracy, that's such a good point. Like Kevin O'Leary and such were like, taking a dump on Bitcoin.
So that way he can, he can pack his bags.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was, dude. Like, a lot of people, like Michael Saylor, who's sort of the Bitcoin, like talks about this. He has those tweets that he always talks about from like back in 2013 when he was. So maybe that's the case, but I think what's interesting, like you bring up the metaverse thing. It's hard to talk about it because I don't want. There are some teams who are going to be able to pull it off, and some projects are going to be able to pull it off for sure. But it definitely became a bit of a meta, right? A bit of a meme where everyone was just like, we're doing a metaverse, we're going to do a land sell, and it's hard to build that stuff. Like there's nothing wrong. Like I'm a big fan of what Cornucopias is trying to do. They are a funded company that have backed investors, and they're a huge team, and they are a metaverse project. Versus being an NFT project that's trying to do a meta, and I think it's very hard, and most are going to fail.
Yeah, I agree. My security in Clay Nation is that they want to focus on music and festival and social and connecting, and everything that everywhere they've gone so far to this point with partnering with Snoop and Champ, and I know they think they have other even NDA stuff that they can't talk about. So like, I'm willing to bet on them because of their vision of like, hey, we love music. Their stake pool was called Music before it was Clay, and they just want to focus on that area. I'm not 100% sure I know what that looks like, but if anyone's gonna do it, I believe in them, so I'm excited for that.
Exactly,
especially since you can clay anything.
True. Yeah. I mean, if anyone can do it, in terms of having an existing NFT project and then launching a metaverse out of it, if anyone can do it, it's going to be them. So
I think so.
And I hope it blows up. Like it would be good for Cardano. It'd be good for the ecosystem. And they're sort of they're going to be the poster child of, for NFTs on Cardano. So I hope it really does well.
Yeah, me too. So you guys want to build a game? I wasn't fully clear on the conclusion there.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out if it makes sense for us. Like it's there, as I mentioned several times, or just a few minutes ago, I talked about like what we want to do, and I talked about earlier, like if you investigate projects and you're like, okay, this is here's another way of spinning this is, let's say you check out a new project and you look at their team. There's 8 people on this team, right? Or 6 people, or even 5 people. Let's do some basic numbers. Let's say you're a team of 5 people on a project team. Let's say you're going to sell your first NFT sell is going to be 100 ADA, and you're going to do 5,000 NFTs. That's 500,000 ADA. Well, as it stands today, that's $250,000 roughly, right? You're gonna haircut like 40% of that, taxes gone. Like you got to pay your taxes. So in terms of ADA, that's 200,000 ADA off the top. That leaves you with 300,000 ADA. That's $150,000. What you need to do is put all of that money into a treasury and say, we're not paying ourselves. We're not taking any money out of that. And that's tiny, $150,000. What are you actually going to be able to build with that? And it all comes down to, it's gone, dude. If you have to pay for someone else to come in and do things for you, like, it's going to be gone. And it's not necessarily, if you're smart, if you're a super competent, capable team, like you can keep costs low if your team possess all the skills that they need to do it on their own. But then you come into this other meta that, like, back last fall, it was super popular for project teams to come out and say, we quit our jobs, we're going full time in the space. Now I would say that's not a good look. And by the way, 2 of the people on our team, our artist and our engineer, both did that back last fall. They did, and I was like, I don't know, guys. Like, that's super risky, and I've kept my job this whole time. I have an awesome job. It's very cush. It doesn't require a lot of my time. I work in tech. It's an awesome job, but now I would say it's sort of it's not a great look, because how are you going to fund your projects like if you don't have a job that you can use to pay for your rent and your just general life expenses, how are you going to fund a project? If you need to take the ADA or whatever you earn from selling your project to pay your bills because you don't have a job, I don't know how you're going to be able to build a project. So on the topic of like building a game, where we're at is really evaluating, and there's a lot of there's probably a dozen or so engineers in like the core community, the Derp community. A lot of what we're planning to do in August is just pump the brakes, clean up our ecosystem, get the code to where it needs to be so we can invite in more of those engineers. We can let them start building features and tools for the project and so on. But we're also sort of talking to a lot of them, trying to get their point of view, especially those that have experience in the video game industry, and asking them, what is it that you know, like, what is your point of view? How hard would it be for us to do this? And so we're doing a lot of research right now to determine if that's the best route for us to go, or if it makes sense to, again, using DGods, the project on Soldano, they did the raffle system. That has been sort of the key focus or emphasis. There's other things as well, but that was a catalyst that took them from being the 20th or 25th biggest project to literally going to the top. And so we don't want, that's not what DerpBirds is about. It's not just about this raffle system, but we're super stoked for the raffle system because it's basically us being able to say, we're going to have this thing running all the time. We're going to be putting new NFTs in there all the time for you guys to give back to the community. And in the meantime, we're going to be delivering next features of the roadmap and really investigating and doing our due diligence on determining exactly what we want to do with the sort of the big picture for the project.
Yeah.
So
that's cool, man. Well, slow and steady wins the race. It's the, it's the Cardano way. That's what it's about.
Totally. Yeah. I think that it's kind of funny you say that because I think that it sounds, again, a bit narcissistic, but like I think there's some parallels between we've tried to do things the Cardano way, like from the staking system. I told you, like, we're doing non-custodial. We don't want people to have to lock their assets up. Like, that's not, it's fine for some projects. Again, I don't want to talk negatively about other systems, but like we want to take cues from Cardano, and we've also been very meticulous and careful. I was talking to GovJob last night or the day before. It's all blurring together now, but we were talking about securities classifications for projects, and we've done our due diligence from the start. All of our stuff's been vetted through lawyers. Like, we don't do anything until we're sure that we can do it, that we would have the funding to do it, that we would be able to do it ourselves, that it's safe, that it's good for the longevity of the project. Yeah. And so, yeah, we just slow and steady, following in Cardano's footsteps. Like, we don't want to rush and mess up, Yeah. So
what kind of reassurance would you, if a big investor happened to be watching, what kind of reassurance would you want them to know about
I would say, I mentioned StockTwits earlier, and I don't know if you know StockTwits, but StockTwits is a big platform. It's a social platform for talking about stocks, crypto, and they're moving towards NFTs. Dude, I hope I'm not misquoting this, but they have a few million daily active users.
Yeah.
They are trying really hard to get Cardano NFT projects to start having more of a presence on StockTwits.
Yeah. Wow.
And dude, Feta talks about this all the time. We think projects have a duty to grow the user base of the Cardano blockchain, right? Like I love Feta's, like every person on Cardano should try to convert one new person every single day. I love that. But projects have, I think, more of a responsibility. Our sort of endeavor on that front has been doing as much as we can with StockTwits. So again, dude, StockTwits, these are people who are using technology, many of which have crypto. The hashtag, the ADA tag on StockTwits has like 250,000 watchers. If you go on StockTwits and you post and use the ADA hashtag or whatever, 250,000 people view that. If Cardano NFT projects start using that and we post there, you're getting your project in front of people who aren't yet exposed to Cardano NFTs.
Yeah.
So sorry, I went on a total side tangent there, but you asked the question. StockTwits asked us that question way back last fall, and they said, we were sort of speculating. We're like, what would a traditional investor need? What would get them interested in an NFT project? Of course, money's the answer, but what would speak to an investor, a traditional investor? What would they want to see in a project? And honestly, I think from my point of view, cautious and calculated, right? What I want to see is the team. And Feta says, and I sound like a total Feta fanboy, but like I keep quoting him, but like invest in teams, right? That's something he says all the time. And to me, that's it. If someone's watched this at some point, like why would I want to get involved in DerpBirds? The roadmap matters. It definitely does matter. What the team wants to do with the project is important. I think equally important is the feasibility of the roadmap can actually deliver for that, but it's the team.
Right.
Do the team have the experience?
Because if the answer was in front of your face, everyone would do it. Yeah.
Exactly. If it were easy, dude, it's a cliche, but if it was easy, everyone would do it. And just like the metaverse example, almost everyone's going to fail. Who are the teams that you're betting on that are going to be able to do metaverse? And it's just like the same with every other NFT project. How many projects have launched since September that are no longer here? Either they've rug pulled or they've completely fizzled out because they can't deliver on the roadmap. And I hate to say it, but many of them are obvious up front. Like you see them before they launch and you're like, why does this project have that hype and that volume? Like, why don't people just double down on the project?
Do you remember like the Stone Age hooligans?
Dude, you bring up Stone Age hooligans, I guarantee it, if you tab into Discord right now and you check, that you're going to see people laughing hysterically in our chat because we have sort of crossover memes that we've with Stone Age Hooligan. That's been sort of a meme project that I don't
know how it's doing now, but I've never heard of them, and I remember they were one of the first projects to be reamed because they used Google Images.
So like I'm just waiting. I just tabbed into Discord. I'm just waiting to see like when the memes start appearing.
If you guys have any questions in the chat, feel free to ask.
Hit me with some questions as well. But like I mean, you just think about these projects, and Feta mentioned one as well. I won't repeat the name, but Feta mentioned one when in your discussion with him as well that had some questionable elements of that project, and it did really well. Like it was a I want to say at one point top 8 project. That project was a top 8 project at one point. And
which one? Tiger Society?
You said it, not me. It was and I know I learned from watching your conversation with Fed. Now the community is trying to run it, but they're, and I also agree with Fed. Like the community trying to save a project is noble, but
noble.
It's an uphill battle, dude. That's a challenge.
I don't know if you remember Coco Loco, but they tried to rebrand as Loco Nuts, and they really worked their asses off to try, man. I don't even think they were able to sell out their remint or whatever.
I don't think they did. And I talked to that team before they even attempted the Loco Nuts, man.
And they couldn't have tried any harder. The developer is a genius. I love him.
I love their team. So we were very close to Coco Locos. Like we were announcing our project before Dan announced it was an experiment. And I was really embedded into the Coco Loco community, and a lot of DerpBird holders today, the couple people from our core community, that's how they got introduced to DerpBirds way back in September, as they were part of Coco Locos. And I straight up asked the Coco Nuts like the founders when they were doing, I was like, don't you think, like, I love what you guys are trying to do, but like, don't you think that energy would be better spent either one, doubling down on a project, an existing project, or build something new? Don't try to resurrect that. And I think Gingerbread Squad, I think they've had the most successful one to date, and still it's just not. I love it's not against the people who tried to resurrect it, but it's just it's a big uphill battle to make that work.
Yeah, exactly. Well, is there anything else you want to talk about? I don't see any questions on the. Oh, CJ, what have you thought about our project? Who's our project? You talking about Derp? Is Ted Derp our project?
Ted's from our community. Yeah.
Okay.
He's asking. Yes.
He's referring. Okay, he's referring to DerpBirds. No, I love it. I picked up about a dozen of each, the Preds and the Derps, just a few days ago, and then I was excited to learn more today. And the team your guys' team seems really dedicated, seems really passionate, has the community's best interest, cares about having fun, which is really what we're all here for, because it's too easy to manipulate human psychology and get something to pump or dump or vice versa. But it's not easy to create an experience. And you guys have created that. So I'm kind of surprised that about a week ago or a few days ago when I picked up a few, the floor was 80 ADA, which is equivalent to $35 right there, or then. And I think the majority of the Cardano NFT community needs to wake up a little and start investing in projects that are closer to that Cardano ethos of slow and steady, not pure nerdy and innovative and like just, you know, like nothing to them, no spunk. You know, you guys have spunk. You literally made silly birds, and you know, did the word backwards with the pred. I love that. But there is something to be said about slow and steady, and you guys have it going on with a great balance. So yeah, man.
Yeah, that's funny that Ted chimed in. I think he was our 18th follower on Twitter, and he was also he had a Coco Loco profile photo for a long time. Like, so it's funny that Ted's been a part of the community for a long time. So, and by the way, like, appreciate the kind words there. It's I think that's like that is what we want to communicate is we hope that there is, through this bear market, there's a shakeout. Now, obviously, selfishly for ourselves as well, we do want people to say, you know what, like DerpBirds has been around since September. They've fucking delivered. Like, they've done what they said they were going to, and they have that track record of actually being able to. They're a team that's capable of doing the things that they commit to. But not just us, other projects. Ada Ninjas is a project that, like, I don't understand. That team works as hard as any team in the space.
They do.
And they're another project that, like, you know, not every project is for everyone. I get that. They have, you know, the anime sort of theme, and anime is not for everyone.
I had a stream with one of the creators.
Nice. They're awesome. Like, we've been good friends with them from the start. And I hope that through this bear market, like, that's a big takeaway, is that people, and we were already seeing this, dude. We're seeing this on Twitter. People are like, I'm cutting back massively. I'm not minting anything new, and I'm really going to double down on the projects that I think are going to be here 12 and 18 months from now.
Yeah. Well, it's likely too that the majority of projects that are actually coming out right now are here to stay, so it's easier to decipher.
You think so? You think the projects that are launching right now will be the guys that are here in the future?
Not all of them, but I'm saying anyone. I'm suggesting that anyone brave enough to build right now has more of a chance of surviving than 10 projects being built now. I think maybe let's just, for even numbers, call it, I think 2 will succeed. But in the bull market, I think for every 20, 1 was going to succeed. You see what I'm saying? I
see what you're saying. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, it is crazy that I don't know. I don't like to speculate on like the DerpBirds floor price and stuff very much, but it's just, it sort of is what it is. We've never been a project that's been about that, but it is sort of it's interesting to think about. Like, something that is fun to think about is that there are so few assets listed. I mean, we have a lot of NFTs, like, across our arc. Pred and Derplings were free, and so people paid for the OG DerpBirds. There was the mint cost. They paid for the eggs, and they paid for the drapes, the derp apes. And what it's crazy though, again, it speaks to our community, the core of our community, more than anything else. There are a lot of people in the space that believe in DerpBirds long term. That's evident in the how few assets are listed, and the stability of the floor price. We've never, had a huge, massive floor price, but it's been somewhat consistent.
When you combine all the projects of DerpBirds, whatever, it's like 120 Preds. I don't know. So you're like around probably 300-ish with all the projects combined, which is, in my opinion, kind of the right thing to do. I think it makes some sense.
Yeah, it's just crazy, dude. That like there's so few assets listed across all the collections, and like one, like one well. It's the difference between like you need one or two big collectors who come in and be like, yeah, okay, this is a team that I'm gonna get behind, I'm gonna back, and yeah, it's
Yeah,
great. That's a motivating factor.
Yeah, and in a weird sense, I'm kind of glad that I never that our point of contact was when it was, because it's always all about timing too. I was open, willing, and yeah, we scheduled this live stream, so I'm stoked about it. I think that's a
Yeah, shout out to GubJub.
yeah, GubJub's dope. Derp. I think that's a
Yeah.
good note to close the stream on. Ted asked, what are the new projects? I'm not watching any new projects right now, to be honest. I'm just holding my position, relaxing. If something comes up, then Mini Magics, actually. Shout out to Mini Magics. Bagel Ken's AF from Pixels is developing it. Someone said spoilers. Were you gonna release some spoilers?
Dude, it's sort of a meme in the community where I can't help but to say some things. I hope surely something I said in this had to
Okay.
have been new news. Like,
Fair enough.
Yeah, I guess maybe the bird mechanic. Like we haven't really talked about that, but that's something that we're playing with. So
Yeah.
I guess no. There is, what I will say is a spoiler of a spoiler, and this is something that the community gives me a hard time. Is like making an announcement of an upcoming announcement.
Yeah.
This is a spoiler of a spoiler. There will be God, this is so typical, but there is a really big change that we'll be announcing soon. We literally legally can't announce it yet.
Cool.
But there is something coming up that I would say, to put a timeline on it, I can't imagine it'll be more than 2 weeks before we make an announcement around something that is, and I will say it has nothing to do with IOHK, because people are going to ask, oh, is it IOHK? It's not that, it's something else. And I will say it has something to do with the DerpBirds 2.0 collection.
Sweet.
So, I'll put out.
Cool. I think people will like that.
Hopefully. But dude, yeah, thanks for having me on. Had a good time. I hope you're definitely going to be in Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Cool, dude.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
All right, brother. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure. Please like, subscribe, go buy a DerpBird. Not financial advice, but go be a part of the community, you know? Yeah.
Definitely.
Cool. All right.
Cool.
Peace out.
All right, man. Thanks for having me on. Shout out to the community, and yeah, we'll talk later, dude.
Take care, brother.
See ya.
Go and pee.